Hello, this is a little video just showing some of the highlights of this little van, because there's a few kind of interesting features. So, I mean, I did all the work. I do carpentry for work, for a living, so it's kind of like well built, but sort of quick and without the nicest materials, but I feel confident in everything. I used it for work primarily, so hauling around tools, and then also my wife and I camped out of it a little bit on some road trips. It worked well for that, but it's definitely not like you don't live in it sort of thing. At least I wouldn't want to. Anyway, so there's a finished ceiling. These little black caps I might take off. They're little covers for the screws, but I think the screws themselves look better, so I'll probably take those off. Some dimmable recessed lights, little LEDs. They dim, which is nice. Here, it's simple 12-volt power, so a little cigarette lighter, and then two USB-C ports, and then this voltage meter shows how charged the battery is. Honestly, almost never use this because we weren't staying in one place long enough to need to charge things that we didn't just charge with like the normal lighter or charger up there, but nice to have. And then there's a fan. So the fan was actually really great, even just for keeping it cool, even if we weren't camping. So like sometimes I'd have my dog in here, and to be able to turn the fan on was really amazing. And it's a nicer one. It has like a rain sensor. It's a max air vent, and then there's a remote mounted there, so you can kind of get it while you're driving even, and control all the different things. You can see how it can get super loud, move a lot of air, and then really pretty quiet. Like if you're sleeping in here, you can't even hear it when it's on its lowest settings. And there's a little thermostat, so it'll kick on at a set temp, and then you can reverse the airflow. Anyway, pretty nice. I'll show you the battery. It's a gel battery, which just means it doesn't like off gas like a lead acid battery. I think I'm saying that right, but it's a deep cycle, so it's kind of a good battery for this application. And then it's charged off of the alternator while you're driving, but you can't kill your starter battery from this because there's a relay that's voltage. Like it senses when the starter battery goes beneath a certain voltage, it cuts off the connection. And then there's a little fuse panel. So I think it's just, yeah, the fan, the lights, and then the little power 12-volt power thing. And then there's a main power cutoff. I always left it on. I guess if you were gonna be extra prudent, you could turn it off when you're not using it. I always left it on. And I did all this. I'm not like an electrician, but I felt really confident about it. I crimped and used heat shrink on everything, and I think it looks pretty decent. And then you can take the battery out with this little mount thing. And then so there's two 48-inch full extension drawers that were super nice for camping, being able to keep all your gear or suitcases or bags, and then mostly for me for work, just keeping tools. So I keep like Milwaukee pack out boxes and crates in there, which worked really well. They lock, which is nice. This is just a little net. I put like ratchet straps and stuff in there. Oh, and then so I kind of like upholstered the interior. So this was originally all just metal, and this is kind of, they call it like 4-way stretch carpet, but it's for this, like it's for like trunks and stuff. And it was really nice to work with, and I think it turned out really well. So it feels kind of cozier and not as, you know, unfinished. So that I thought turned out well. Kind of tucks beneath all the gaskets, so it looks pretty clean. And then the other drawer, this was something that I really was trying to figure out for a long time, is how do you fit a full-size cooler underneath the platform without the platform being so high that like you can't sit up. And to be honest, like with by the time a mattress is in here, you know, my wife and I are decently tall. We couldn't sit all the way up, but you were almost all the way there. So basically I cut into the kind of the floor plane, because this is a passenger van as well. There's like a huge recess for like what would be the feet of the seat back here. And yeah, I basically cut down into that so that this drawer could go as low as possible. You can see it just barely goes over this threshold. So a full-size cooler can fit in here. Otherwise, I think you'd lose, you know, at least 4 or 5 inches where the whole platform would have to come higher. So you can see this is kind of like a little lower, where all the screws are the height of the rest of the floor. And the panels for the platform, they all kind of open up. So I would usually have it in this configuration for work, because I'd have like bigger toolboxes or whatever miscellaneous things in here, and then kind of the drawer for whatever else. But obviously for a mattress you need it flat, so that just folds flat. I just had these for like, I have a ladder in here, so I strapped it with that, but it's kind of nice. And then there's like some strap points here. And I put these windows in because it didn't have windows, and that's about it. You know, the front's pretty standard. I have these Carhartt seat covers. This is like the previous owner put this in. It's like a what is it called? Night Eyes thing. So he like epoxied it. So I don't know. I actually used it and really liked it, but it's kind of permanent. And then there's an aux cable. No Bluetooth. I'm sure you could upgrade the stereo if you wanted, but the aux was fine. And CD player. Everything else is everything is just kind of what you'd expect. Okay, thanks.